Welcome to day 4 of Deep Sea Crafts. Today we're going to be making a treasure map and a treasure chest. We're going to be making a treasure map because we've been learning about how the Bible is like a treasure map. We'll also be making a treasure chest to hold the jewels of the gospel that we've been learning about. Let's get started. Now for our treasure map, I already drew a treasure map on my paper. I used a Sharpie, and that way when I get this wet to make it look like an old secret treasure map, my Sharpie won't be ruined. If you don't have a Sharpie and you'll be using a regular marker or a pen, you will need to dry your treasure map once your paper is dry. After you draw your treasure map, we're gonna make it look old. So the first thing I'm gonna do is tear off some of the edges. This way it'll look very ancient. So I'm gonna tear all the edges around. I'm gonna try not to tear any of my drawing off, but you know, if a little bit comes off, that's okay. It doesn't need to be perfect. All right, I'm gonna do that to the next 3 edges. Once I have all the edges torn off, it's time to crumple up our paper. So I'm just gonna kind of crumple it up like I'm making a snowball. And this will add some wrinkles to make our treasure map look really old. Now I'm going to take it out from the crumpled ball and just press it flat. It looks like this has just been discovered from an old shipwreck or something. Once you have it flattened out, we are going to be taking a tea bag and putting it in some hot water to start to kind of activate and brew that tea. We're going to be using the tea bag to add some color to our tea map, to our treasure map, to make it look really old. Once you've let the tea bag soak for a little bit, we're going to take it out and use it almost like a sponge to get some of that brown tea color onto our treasure map. Now I'm kind of letting it sit in puddles on my paper because that way the tea color will really soak in and make it look like an old treasure map. Once you've covered the whole thing in tea, you're just going to want to let that dry. So this is what it looks like when it's wet. We're gonna let it dry and then it'll look like an old treasure map. The next thing we're gonna be making is our treasure chest. Now you have this container that is brown, but we're gonna be adding some decorations to it to look like a treasure chest. The first thing we're gonna be doing is adding this gold strips that came on this wax paper. So I took that off and it's a little bit sticky on the back, but if it doesn't stick down to the plastic, you have glue from your craft kit that you can use. I'm gonna be using a scissors to measure this. I'm gonna be putting it right across the top like that, and then cutting off the extra. So I'm gonna put one strip on one side. I'm gonna put the next strip on the other side. And then I actually have some leftovers. So I'm actually gonna add a strip, 2 strips down the front. So I'm gonna take that gold strip down the front. With your leftover gold strip, you can decide how you'd like to decorate it. I still have a little bit left over, so I'm just gonna pretend it's the latch in the middle. Now I have my gold strips attached. Now it's time to add some of the jewels. Now you have been learning about the jewels of the gospel that are just so precious to us as we learn about God and how we can be in a right relationship with Him. So I'm gonna be putting these jewels as decorations on my treasure chest. You can really put them anywhere you want when you're decorating them. I'm gonna be putting them along the gold strips just to add a little bit of extra decoration. You could maybe even put them inside, like part of the treasure inside the treasure chest. It's up to you. Now I'm gonna be using glue dots. So I just took the top wax paper off and now there's little bits of glue on here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a jewel, stick it onto one of those glue dots. And then once that is on there, I'm gonna peel the glue dot off and then I can stick that onto my treasure chest. So you can see I just added a jewel right there on the golden strip. I'm gonna be doing that with the rest of my jewels and adding them to the top of my treasure chest. Now my treasure chest is complete and I can add some of my treasures from the activities inside to keep.